Most people think success is about talent. It's not. It's about thinking like the people who already have what you want and acting as if you belong among them. The top 1% don't wait for motivation, they build systems. They don't chase comfort, they chase clarity. This is your mental reset, a total rewiring of how you see effort, failure, and progress. From this moment forward, you stop thinking like the 99%. You start operating like the top 1%. Chapter 1. Stop thinking, start training your mind. Stop thinking. Start training your mind. That's where winners begin. You've been taught to think success is an idea, something you figure out in your head. But it isn't. Success is training. It's conditioning. It's what you do with your thoughts, not what you think about them. The top 1% don't wait for inspiration. They train their focus the way athletes train their bodies. Every thought is a repetition. Every repetition becomes identity. That's the secret. You train your mind or your mind trains you. You have a choice. Most people overthink. They analyze every move. They hesitate. They replay scenarios that never happen. They think about doing instead of doing. And that's the difference between motion and momentum. Winners move. Losers analyze movement until it disappears. Training your mind means discipline. It means repetition when you don't feel like it. It means taking control of your focus before the world does. That's the key. Every time you let distraction in, you weaken your mental muscle. Every time you push through, you strengthen it. You don't need their permission. You don't need motivation. You need a system. A daily structure that turns training into habit. The top performers live by systems. Their mornings are systems. Their priorities are systems. Even their recovery is a system. What? Because systems make success predictable. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your training. If you've trained distraction, you'll fall into distraction. If you've trained focus, you'll default to clarity. That's what mental training is, default clarity. Your brain is a muscle. If you feed it weakness, it will give you excuses. If you feed it repetition, it will give you results. Repeat that. If you feed it repetition, it will give you results. You train your body with weights. You train your mind with focus. Every time you resist an impulse, you lift mental weight. Every time you say no to comfort, you build endurance. Every time you stay consistent, you grow stronger. This is not motivation. This is mental engineering. You are programming your operating system through repetition. What you repeat becomes your response. And your responses create your results. Stop asking, how do I feel today? Start asking, what did I train today? You can't wait for confidence to begin. You build confidence by showing up. You build it by keeping promises to yourself. That's the training. That's what separates the top 1%. They act first. They feel later. Action before emotion. That's the formula. When you repeat discipline, discipline becomes emotion. You start craving consistency the way others crave comfort. That's mental conditioning. You have a choice every morning. Train your mind to command your day, or let your day command your mind. That's the fork in the road. That's where winners separate from everyone else. You can tell who trains and who doesn't. The trained mind is calm under chaos. The trained mind doesn't panic. It observes, decides, and moves. That's what the top 1% do. You think they're fearless? They're not. They're focused. Focus replaces fear. Focus is stronger than emotion. Because focus is trained. Stop thinking. Start training. Training your mind means creating controlled exposure to pressure. Do the thing that challenges you every day, not because it's fun, but because it builds mental calluses. When you repeat challenge, you stop fearing it. When you stop fearing it, you master it. That's the key. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. There will never be a perfect moment. Winners act inside chaos. They train inside noise. They perform inside uncertainty. That's why they stay calm when others break. They've practiced discomfort until it feels normal. And you can do the same. Start small. Train focus for 10 minutes a day. Sit in silence and direct your thoughts deliberately. When your mind wanders, bring it back. That's a rep. When you resist distraction, that's another rep. When you hold focus longer than before, that's progress. That's training. Do it daily. Not when you feel inspired, daily. Repetition transforms chaos into control. That's how discipline is built. You are not training to think positive. You are training to think precise. Positivity is emotion. Precision is control. Precision wins. When you train your mind, you become aware of every wasted thought, every complaint, every excuse, and you cut them. You remove them from your mental vocabulary. Because what you repeat, you reinforce. Stop rehearsing weakness. Start rehearsing power. The top 1% don't waste thoughts. Every thought has a purpose. Every thought has direction. Every thought serves the goal. You have a choice: train like them or stay average. When you catch yourself overthinking, stop. When you find yourself hesitating, move. When your brain says, not today, respond with, exactly today. That's the battle you fight daily. That's the battle that builds your edge. Stop looking for comfort. Comfort doesn't build kings. Comfort builds complacency. Discomfort builds dominance. Train for discomfort. Embrace it until it becomes your advantage. That's what winners do. They use what breaks others as fuel. They use repetition as a weapon. They use structure as power. Stop thinking about changing your life. Start training for it. Train your focus. Train your patience. Train your discipline. And your results will have no choice but to follow. That's the truth. It's not about motivation. It's about consistency. It's not about talent. It's about repetition. It's not about luck. It's about training. You are not thinking your way to success. You are training your way to it. Every mental rep counts. Every act of control compounds. Every day of focus builds momentum. This is your gym. And your mind is the muscle. Train it. Every day. Relentlessly. You mastered hesitation in this chapter. You learned that thinking without training leads nowhere. Now it's time to build what drives all mastery: clarity. Chapter 2, Ruthless Clarity. Know exactly what you want. Most people wander. The top 1% aim. They know exactly what they want. You can't hit a target you haven't defined. You can't build a life you haven't described. Clarity is power. Lack of clarity is chaos. The average person chases 10 things. The winner masters one. That's the rule. Every morning they wake up and know why they're getting up. Not I should, not maybe. It's crystal. They can say it in one sentence. That's the difference between motion and direction. You have a choice. You can keep doing everything and call it progress. Or you can strip it down to what truly matters and build mastery. That's the key. Ruthless clarity means cutting. Cutting distractions. Cutting noise. Cutting half goals that look impressive but lead nowhere. It means asking the brutal question, what do I want, and what am I doing today to move toward it? Say that to yourself. What do I want? What am I doing today to move toward it? Again. What do I want? What am I doing today to move toward it? Drill it until it becomes instinct. That single question destroys confusion. It kills procrastination. It makes you accountable to yourself. You don't need their permission. You don't need everyone to understand your clarity. You only need to define it and act on it. The top 1% think in single variables. One outcome. One target. One mission at a time. Because focus compounds. When you pour all your energy into one thing, the world can't ignore it. Think about it. A laser is just concentrated light. Focus turns average energy into unstoppable force. That's what clarity does for the mind. But here's what stops most people. They confuse interest with intention. They say, I want success. But that's not clear. Success in what? For whom? What? If you can't define it, you can't direct it. Clarity forces you to choose. Choice creates power. That's the formula. The top 1% write it down. They make their goals measurable, specific, timed, and visible. Because clarity without structure is daydreaming. Structure turns clarity into command. Every day they measure progress. Not feelings. Progress. They ask, did I move one step closer? That's it. No drama. No debate. Data over emotion. You can do the same. Pick the one thing that changes everything. The one pursuit that, if mastered, elevates your entire life. That's where clarity lives. Stop scattering your energy across 10 unfinished ideas. Focus on the one that matters. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters with precision. Say it again, precision. Clarity without precision is still noise. When you know exactly what you want, every action either builds it or breaks it. That's accountability. That's power. Clarity removes excuses. When you know your destination, every detour feels wrong. When you don't, every distraction feels valid. That's why people quit. They never knew where they were going in the first place. You have a choice. Decide now. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Repeat it until it becomes your compass. Because clarity spoken daily becomes identity. The mind needs targets. Without them, it creates confusion. That's why anxiety thrives in uncertainty. Clarity kills anxiety. When you know what you want, your brain stops guessing and starts executing. You can't master what you haven't measured. So measure it. Name it. Track it. You want financial freedom? Define the number. You want health? Define the routine. You want peace? Define what peace looks like daily. Clarity is not an affirmation, it's architecture. You design it, you build it, you live inside it. Stop saying, I just want to be successful. That's vague. Say, I want to earn X by Y doing Z. That's clarity. And the clearer you get, the faster reality follows. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you're clear about. The universe responds to specificity. So does your own brain. Every time you hesitate, ask the question again, what do I want? What am I doing today to move toward it? That's the anchor. Drill it. Repeat it. Live it. Clarity also requires honesty. Brutal honesty. You have to admit what you truly want, not what sounds good, not what impresses others. The truth might be uncomfortable, but it's freedom. Pretending leads to paralysis. Honesty leads to direction. The top 1% are honest with themselves. They know their strengths. They know their weaknesses. They don't lie to feel better. They align to perform better. Stop lying to yourself about what you really want. You don't have to want what everyone else wants. You only have to commit to your truth and build around it. That's ruthless clarity. It's ruthless because it cuts illusions. It removes comfort. It demands alignment. When you have clarity, you say no with confidence. You stop chasing opportunities that aren't yours. You stop wasting time proving yourself in battles that don't matter. Because you know where you're going. Clarity simplifies everything. Decisions become easy. Boundaries become obvious. Energy becomes focused. You have a choice every day: be scattered or be sharp. Be reactive or be precise. You can't be both. The top 1% stay sharp because they never forget their direction. They remind themselves hourly, daily, relentlessly. Clarity isn't something you find once. It's something you maintain. Every morning, recalibrate. Every night, review. That's how clarity stays alive. It's not about being busy. It's about being aligned. You can work 10 hours a day and still move nowhere if your target shifts every week. Stop moving aimlessly. Start moving intentionally. Clarity creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates results. That's the chain. Break the first link and the rest collapses. So start now. Grab a notebook. Write down what you truly want. Describe it until it feels real. Then outline what you'll do today to move one step closer. Then do it again tomorrow. And again. And again. That's how clarity turns into consistency. And consistency builds success. You don't need motivation when you have direction. You don't need external pressure when your internal compass is strong. That's the difference between wandering and winning. Remember, the top 1% don't chase 10 things. They master one. Clarity eliminates hesitation. If you can't define it, you can't achieve it. Define it now. Say it out loud. Own it. Build it. You've built clarity in this chapter. You've learned to cut noise and define purpose. Now it's time to shift from proving yourself to improving yourself. Chapter 3. Stop proving, start building. Stop proving. Start building. That's the first rule of elite thinking. Average minds crave validation. They need approval to move forward. They post, they boast, they perform for applause. Elite minds? They seek progress. They don't announce their moves. They make their work speak. You have a choice. You can chase praise, or you can chase results. One leads to noise. The other leads to power. The top 1% live in silence. Not because they hide, because they understand leverage. Every action that doesn't need applause compounds power. Think about that. Every hour you spend showing off is an hour you aren't building. Every post, every argument, every social display is time spent outside your lane. Stop proving. Start building. Progress is invisible. It doesn't shout. It doesn't need likes. It grows quietly. And when it becomes visible, it's unstoppable. You have a choice. Do you want temporary attention or permanent momentum? Because proving gives applause. Building gives legacy. The top 1% do not wait for recognition. They act before permission. They act before validation. They act before the world notices. Every expert you admire is proof of this rule. They trained in silence. They practiced when no one was watching. They built habits nobody applauded. And one day their work became undeniable. You can do the same. Stop telling the world you're working. Start showing the results. Stop justifying your process. Start perfecting it. You have a choice. You can seek applause or you can create impact. Applause fades. Impact lasts. That's why winners avoid validation traps. Silence is leverage. Use it. Every unbroadcasted hour of work compounds your advantage. Every unseen sacrifice builds your skill. Every unannounced success strengthens your confidence. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The world will notice when it matters. Average minds measure themselves against others. Elite minds measure themselves against their goals. One leads to comparison, envy, frustration. The other leads to mastery, growth, and unstoppable momentum. Stop comparing. Stop proving. Start building. The top 1% understand the math of progress. Time spent building, time spent performing. Results compound over repetition. Visibility compounds over effort. But visibility without effort is vanity. Effort without visibility is growth. Which one do you want? You have a choice. Every day ask yourself, am I building or am I proving? If it's proving, cut it. If it's building, double down. Repeat daily. That's the discipline that separates winners from everyone else. Think about your morning routine. Are you scrolling for recognition? Or are you investing in yourself? Every moment you chase validation is a moment stolen from mastery. The top 1% don't live for applause. They live for results. They live for skill. They live for momentum. And every action is measured against those outcomes. You have a choice. Let the crowd watch, or let the work speak. Every time you choose the work, you choose power. Every time you choose applause, you dilute it. Stop telling people you're building. Start building. Real progress is invisible. It's not flashy. It's not dramatic. It's a daily grind repeated until mastery emerges. Think of the top athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs. Do they post every practice? Do they justify their hours? No. They train. They repeat. They refine. They execute. And the results speak louder than words ever could. Every action that doesn't need applause compounds power. Say it again. Every action that doesn't need applause compounds power. Repeat it until it's your mantra. You have a choice. You can seek recognition for effort, or you can invest in results for impact. Effort for applause is short-lived. Effort for mastery lasts a lifetime. The top 1% understand timing. They know when to speak and when to act. They understand that silence is leverage. They act in private and the results force attention in public. Stop proving. Start building. Your network, your followers, your peers, none of that defines your value. Your work defines your value. Your skill defines your value. Your results define your value. Every minute you spend proving, you lose momentum. Every minute you spend building, you gain exponential advantage. You have a choice. Do you want applause today or legacy tomorrow? Because legacy always wins. Applause is temporary. Results are permanent. The top 1% focus on one thing at a time. They don't scatter effort across social validation or empty praise. They focus on building skill, knowledge, and tangible outcomes. That's why they dominate their field quietly, then explode publicly. You have a choice. You can chase approval or you can chase excellence. Excellence compounds. Approval fades. The choice is yours. Stop talking about what you're doing. Stop posting updates. Stop explaining your grind. Focus on executing it. You have a choice. Execute in silence. Build in solitude. Repeat daily. And one day the world will take notice. Silence is leverage. Consistency is power. Focus is currency. The top 1% don't hustle for attention. They hustle for mastery. They invest in skills, not applause. They measure results, not opinions. And that's how they win. Quietly. Relentlessly. Undeniably. Every action that doesn't need applause compounds power. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. You mastered validation in this chapter. You learned that proving yourself to others is a trap. Now it's time to take control of your internal world and your energy. Chapter 4. Control your state, command your results. Winners don't control the world. They control their response to it. That's the rule. The moment you understand this, everything changes. Because the world will throw chaos at you. It will challenge you. It will test your patience. It will test your focus. You have a choice. You can react, or you can respond. Reaction is weak. Response is power. The top 1% don't lose themselves in external circumstances. They stay calm under pressure. They think clearly when others panic. They act decisively when the room is chaotic. Emotional discipline is power. The calmest person in the room is the one with real control. The quietest mind often commands the loudest results. You have a choice. You can let anger, frustration, or fear dictate your actions. Or you can decide in advance, I will not carry what I cannot control. Repeat this mantra, if I can't control it, I won't carry it. Say it. Believe it. Live it. Control your state. And you command your results. Most people believe control is external. They think they must manipulate circumstances, people, or luck to win. That's wrong. Control starts internally. Control is mental. Control is emotional. You have a choice. Do you want to be a victim of circumstance? Or do you want to be unstoppable inside it? The top 1% know this truth. Events don't determine outcomes. Responses do. The world is unpredictable. Your response doesn't have to be. Every day you will face triggers. Every day the unexpected will hit. Every day distractions, setbacks, and chaos will appear. And every day you will choose your state. Calmness is a decision. Clarity is a decision. Focus is a decision. You have a choice. React and lose control. Respond and dominate. Let me be clear. Discipline isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about directing them, channeling them, using them as fuel. When frustration arises, the top 1% ask, how can I use this? When pressure mounts, they ask, how can I convert stress into strategy? When chaos attacks, they ask, how do I make this my advantage? You can do the same. You have a choice. Stop letting the environment dictate your mood. Stop letting other people dictate your energy. Stop letting problems dictate your focus. The top 1% protect their state like an asset. They guard their calm. They guard their attention. They guard their energy. Because control over self multiplies everything else. You have a choice. Say it again. If I can't control it, I won't carry it. This mantra is your shield. Repeat it until it becomes reflex. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice it. Control your state and the world becomes manageable. Lose control and the world becomes chaos. The top 1% don't just survive pressure. They thrive under it. Because pressure tests control. Pressure builds resilience. Pressure refines decision-making. Pressure rewards those who stay disciplined. You have a choice. Every time you feel the urge to react emotionally, stop. Breathe. Pause. Assess. Decide. Decision is power. Reaction is weakness. The top 1% operate on principle, not impulse. They act according to rules they've set, not the whims of circumstance. This is internal sovereignty. This is mental authority. This is dominance. You have a choice. You can allow anger to dictate your decisions. You can allow fear to dictate your actions. Or you can pause, assess, and respond deliberately. That's control. Control is not passive. Control is not inaction. Control is strategic movement in the middle of chaos. It's calm decisiveness under pressure. It's thinking 2 steps ahead while others react impulsively. You have a choice. Your environment is unpredictable. Your people are unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. Your state should never be. The calm mind sees opportunity where others see obstacle. The controlled mind finds solutions where others find excuses. The disciplined mind executes when others delay. You have a choice. Stop carrying the weight of things you cannot influence. Stop wasting energy on outcomes outside your control. Focus your energy where it matters, your response. The top 1% invest in internal assets first. They invest in mindset, focus, and resilience. They invest in emotional discipline. Everything else flows from that foundation. You have a choice. You can panic, complain, and resist. Or you can control your state, command your results, and thrive. Every challenge is practice. Every setback is training. Every stressful situation is a test of your control. Repeat after me, if I can't control it, I won't carry it. This mantra is your shield, your weapon, and your compass. Every time you use it, you strengthen mental muscle. Every time you use it, you gain clarity under chaos. Every time you use it, you increase your edge over everyone else. You have a choice. Stop letting emotion dictate decisions. Stop letting noise dictate actions. Stop letting fear dictate focus. Command your state. Command your results. The top 1% dominate because they act from control. They don't waste energy fighting what they cannot change. They channel their energy to what they can influence. That's leverage. That's power. That's unstoppable momentum. You have a choice. Be reactive and weak, or be controlled and unstoppable. Because control is not optional if you want top-tier results. The world will test you. The pressure will rise. The obstacles will appear. Your state is the difference between collapse and conquest. If you mastered this chapter, you understand the power of your mind over circumstances. You know that winners control their state before controlling anything else. You know the mantra. You know the method. You know the edge. You have a choice. Now, let's harness that edge and multiply it across everything you do. Chapter 5. Delay pleasure, multiply power. The top 1% are not faster. They are not luckier. They are not gifted with more hours in the day. They are simply more patient. They understand time differently. They know that real rewards take time, that effort compounds quietly, that nothing permanent is built in comfort. They trade instant pleasure for lasting strength. They sacrifice what feels good now for what pays forever. This is the art of delayed gratification, the discipline that separates the successful from the almost successful. Most people want the feeling of progress, not progress itself. They want the appearance of achievement, not the substance. They chase quick results, shortcuts, hacks, anything that avoids the waiting, the repetition, the boredom of mastery. But everything real, everything permanent, demands time. You have a choice. You can live in the instant or you can live in the process. The crowd celebrates temporary wins. The elite build permanent foundations. The crowd spends energy chasing pleasure. The elite channel energy into purpose. Patience is not weakness. It's strength under control. It's the quiet confidence that you're building something bigger than the moment. Every delay compounds value. Every impulsive choice drains momentum. The athlete who skips practice for comfort falls behind. The entrepreneur who chases quick money loses long-term growth. The student who avoids repetition never reaches mastery. Every time you choose what's easy, you trade away what's essential. The 1% understand that patience is not waiting. Patience is working while waiting. It's staying disciplined when the results haven't shown yet. It's trusting your system even when the scoreboard is silent. It's choosing to keep moving when nobody notices. Because eventually the wait ends. And when it does, all that time you invested explodes into momentum. All the unseen effort compounds into undeniable power. Most people quit too early. They quit because progress feels slow. They quit because nobody is clapping. They quit because the payoff isn't immediate. But the top 1% have mastered the art of quiet endurance. They understand that growth often feels like stagnation, that building something great often feels invisible before it becomes undeniable. They delay pleasure not because they don't deserve it, but because they've learned the difference between reward and relief. Relief is what you take when you can't stand the waiting. Reward is what you earn when you endure it. There's power in patience. Every moment you hold the line, every time you resist distraction, every time you stay disciplined while others give up, you build an edge that compounds over years. That edge is what separates the elite from everyone else. The truth is simple. Impulses destroy momentum. Discipline builds it. Pleasure now is expensive. Pleasure later is amplified. The world will tempt you every day. With comfort, with distraction, with easy wins that look like success but steal from your future. You will have to choose. Do you want short-term validation or long-term freedom? Do you want dopamine or dominance? Because you can't have both. The top 1% think like investors. Every decision is a deposit into their future. They understand compound interest in habits, in focus, in patience. They don't chase fast profit. They build enduring systems. They don't spend emotional energy chasing excitement. They direct it toward consistency. That's why they seem unstoppable. Because while everyone else is chasing something now, they're stacking power for later. Delayed gratification is not about deprivation. It's about direction. It's not about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to the right things at the right time. It's about control. Control over appetite. Control over emotion. Control over action. And when you control your impulses, you control your trajectory. Every person who ever built something lasting understood this law. They all walked the same road of restraint. The builder who spends years perfecting craft before fame. The artist who practices in obscurity before the masterpiece. The leader who chooses principle over popularity. Each delay strengthened them. Each sacrifice made them sharper. Each restraint made their future bigger. That's the real secret of success. The willingness to wait longer than most are willing to endure. To keep building long after the excitement fades. To keep showing up long after the novelty is gone. Because every delay adds depth. Every test of patience refines focus. Every season of waiting strengthens your core. This is what the impatient never understand. Time is not your enemy. Time is your multiplier. Time amplifies whatever you invest in. If you invest in distraction, it amplifies chaos. If you invest in discipline, it amplifies success. So slow down. Be strategic. Play the long game. Build momentum that can't be stolen. Build mastery that can't be faked. Build results that don't depend on applause. Don't let the world rush you into mediocrity. The clock isn't your competition. It's your partner. Work with it. Let time magnify your effort. Delayed gratification is not punishment. It's preparation. It's the silent work that makes public success look effortless. It's the unseen grind that turns consistency into greatness. When you delay pleasure, you multiply power. Because patience is not about waiting. It's about refusing to settle for less than what you're capable of. So hold the line. Build the habits. Ignore the noise. Trust the process. Let time do its work. Because while everyone else is chasing the next high, you're building the foundation for a lifetime of success. That's the difference between those who flash and fade, and those who build and last. You've learned to control your mind. You've built clarity. You've stopped proving and started building. You've learned to control your state. And now you've mastered patience, the quiet strength that multiplies every other discipline. The top 1% don't wait for rewards. They create them through time, focus, and restraint. And you can do the same. Delay pleasure. Multiply power. Because your future deserves more than your impulses. And if you live by that truth, your results won't just grow. They'll compound. Silently. Steadily. Forever.